My wedding hall had 150 guests, friends, relatives, my husband's family, people smiling, laughing, taking pictures. Everything was going perfectly until my stepfather stood up. He didn't look emotional. He didn't look proud. He looked irritated. He walked toward the stage where I was standing in my wedding dress and said loudly into the microphone meant for speeches, "Before this goes any further, I want to say something." The room quieted. I thought he was about to give a blessing. Instead, he pointed at me and said, "This girl has never respected this family. She's always been selfish." A nervous laugh spread through the guests. People thought it was a joke. "It wasn't," he continued, "and today she thinks she can walk into a new life without fixing what she's done here." I felt my hands go cold. My mom was sitting in the front row, staring at the floor. I whispered, "What is he doing?" My husband squeezed my hand, confused. Then my stepfather said the words that froze the entire hall. "If you can't respect this family, then get out." Silence. Complete silence. 150 people watching. Cameras still recording. I looked at my mom. She didn't move. She didn't say a word. In that moment, I realized something painful. This wasn't sudden. This had been building for years. Every time he insulted me privately, every time my mom stayed quiet, every time I chose to ignore it to keep peace, it had led to this public humiliation. On my own wedding day, my husband stepped forward, anger visible on his face. "Sir, this is not the place." I stopped him because something inside me had gone very calm, not embarrassed, not furious, just clear. I took the microphone gently from my stepfather's hand. He resisted for a second, then let go, expecting me to argue, to cry, to defend myself. I didn't. I looked at the crowd and said, very calmly, "Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the food. The ceremony will continue in 5 minutes. That's it. No explanation. No drama." I handed the mic back to the event manager and stepped off the stage. My husband followed me to a side room. "We can throw him out," he said angrily. I shook my head. "No. Why not?" "Because he just did something he can never undo." I fixed my dress in the mirror. My hands were steady. "This wedding will continue," I said, "but not for him." When we returned, the mood had shifted. People were whispering. My stepfather had gone back to his seat, looking strangely satisfied, like he had put me in my place. The ceremony went on. Smiles returned slowly. Music played. Guests tried to move past the awkwardness, but something had changed. For me, that night, after everyone left, I didn't cry. I didn't complain. I didn't even talk about it much. I made a decision. I would not argue with a man who had just exposed himself in front of 150 witnesses. I would not fight for respect from someone who had publicly thrown it away. I would do something much quieter, much more permanent. The days after the wedding were surreal. My stepfather never apologized. Not directly, not even a small text. My mom pretended nothing had happened. My sister laughed it off in private messages, assuming I would be embarrassed and regretful. But I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't hurt in the way they expected. I was calm. I had decided that day on the stage that I would not let him dictate my life with anger or shame. Instead, I focused on what I could control. My marriage, my home, my family, my child, if there would be one in the future. I would build the life I wanted without waiting for approval from someone who had shown such public disrespect. Weeks later, I received a formal invitation to a family dinner. My mom had called to insist I attend, as if nothing had happened. I considered declining but decided to go on my own terms. When I arrived, my stepfather was there, of course, smiling and pretending everything was fine. Guests greeted me warmly, commenting on the wedding, the decorations, the ceremony. Everyone except him acted normal. During dinner, he made a small, condescending remark about my cooking, something meant to provoke. Normally, I would have responded defensively. Not this time. I smiled politely and continued serving the guests. He looked surprised. My mother frowned. My sister whispered something I couldn't hear. I realized I was the only one who had the upper hand, not through confrontation, not through revenge, but simply by refusing to engage. Days turned into weeks. My stepfather tried again. Subtle comments, small provocations, invitations I ignored, messages I didn't answer. Meanwhile, my husband noticed the change. He asked, "Why are you so calm?" I explained, because his power over me existed only if I allowed it. "I've taken it back." He nodded, proud. Then came the unexpected. At a casual family gathering, my parents' house, a week after the dinner, he stood up to announce something. All eyes were on him. I could feel the tension. I just want to say congratulations again. He began, awkwardly. "I hope your marriage." He stopped, hesitated. His tone was different, unsure. I smiled politely. My calmness was a shield. He had no attack left. Later, in private, my mom admitted quietly, "I never thought you'd just take it in stride, not fight back, not cry. That's because I realized fighting you gives you power. Ignoring you takes it away," I said softly. The shift was gradual but irreversible. My stepfather's humiliation no longer intimidated me. Instead, it revealed the limits of his authority. Every attempt at provocation met with silence and composure. Months later, he tried one last time at a family gathering, loudly complaining about something trivial. This time, everyone ignored him. My mom didn't intervene. My sister didn't whisper behind her hand. My husband and I sat quietly observing. He realized then, perhaps too late, that the public scene at my wedding did not diminish me. If anything, it had strengthened my control over my own life. I didn't confront him. I didn't insult him. I didn't demand respect. I simply continued my life, calm and composed, while he realized his words carried no weight. By choosing silence, I had transformed humiliation into authority. By refusing to engage, I had taken the one thing he thought he owned, my reaction, and kept it for myself. And in the quiet aftermath, I finally understood the power of calm, the strength of self-possession, and the enduring authority of someone who refuses to be diminished by another's anger. Months later, at another family gathering, my stepfather tried to provoke me again. This time, I didn't flinch. I smiled politely, carried on with my husband, and ignored him. He realized then that his words no longer had power. I didn't confront, yell, or argue. By staying calm, I had turned his public humiliation into my quiet victory. I had reclaimed control, not by fighting, but by refusing to be diminished. And that day, everyone saw it.